I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Friday, April 10th with news headlines from Arkansas. Gee, you need a scorecard to keep up with the lawsuit over same-sex marriage in Arkansas. It's devolved into a political and legal bickering match. The latest news is that yesterday afternoon, Tippy McCullough, who leads the Stonewall Democrats in Arkansas, filed a complaint with the Judicial Discipline and Disability Commission that she says needs to investigate whether improper actions were taken by the Supreme Court in handling the appeal of the same-sex marriage case, the one where Chris Piazza ruled that the state ban on same-sex marriage was unconstitutional. She bases her complaint on the letters from Chief Justice Jim Hannon and Associate Justice Paul Danielson that recused from a separate case set up by 4 other members of the Supreme Court to decide the case of which judges should hear the case. Getting confusing for you yet? Danielson and Hanna say that they think this case did not need to be set up, that it was clear who should hear the case, and that this extra case is just about delaying the case, perhaps until the Supreme Court can rule. Who knows, perhaps until they can get a different lineup of judges to come out with a different decision than the one was reached when the Supreme Court Justices conference back in November 20th. They never did reach a decision before a couple of seats on the court changed January 1st, and that's created the confusion. Want some more confusion? 2 lawyers for plaintiffs in this lawsuit now differ on who should hear the case. One says, "I'll let the current judges hear it, let Rhonda Wood hear the case." The other one says, "No, we want the judges who heard the case last year to decide this case. That's the way the law ought to be." Counties have weighed in saying, "No, the new judges should hear the case." Whatever else is going to happen is not going to bring a quick decision on this. Asa Hutchinson spoke to lawyers in Little Rock today, the Pulaski County Bar Association. Given the audience, it was probably not unusual. He talked about his justice initiatives, reforms they call them. More spending on prison, more spending on parole, more spending on reentry programs. It's a balanced approach. It's aimed at reducing the prison population, and the timing is good. We printed a report this morning from the Sentencing Project that shows that Arkansas has led the nation by far in the growth in its prison population over the last 10 years. Even though there's been a drop in crime during that same period, we've become more punitive, but not very successful in reducing the causes of crime. So a little change of direction is probably a pretty good idea. The lawyers did not ask the governor about his failure to get behind a proclamation or any other action to provide civil rights protections for gay people. It's still a current subject. What happened in the legislative session did nothing to improve a lot of gay people who still may be discriminated against. It was particularly relevant today, I thought, because the Downtown Little Rock Partnership, private businesses that are working hard to attract tech companies in downtown Little Rock, issued a ringing statement calling on the governor to issue a proclamation saying that the state would not discriminate in employment against people based on sexual orientation and gender identity. It was a great statement. The governor would do well to follow it. Also, lots of school news today. Where to begin on that? Johnny Key, I wrote about him this morning, the new state education commissioner. He spoke to the State Board of Education yesterday, and he said that the state needs to go far beyond the 6 schools in academic distress in Little Rock and do something holistic, was the word he used, about the entire school district. The suggestion was that the entire Little Rock school district is failing. If you want to rant, you can read what I wrote this morning. That it's an insult to dozens of achieving schools, hundreds of teachers, thousands of parents, thousands of children who are indeed succeeding in the Little Rock School District and have over the years. There are problems. There's money that can be saved. There are improvements can be made. But I think that it hurts us all when we say the entire thing is a failure. You have to wonder if there's an agenda at work there to bring the entire district down so that eventually it can be turned over to the profit-making enterprises of private charter schools. We'll see about that. Elsewhere on the school front, the North Little Rock School Board met until almost 3 o'clock this morning and finally upheld the administration's firing of the football coach Brad Bolding over recruiting a star player and some purchasing violations. He said, gee, he didn't know about the rules on purchasing because he doesn't pay much attention to email. He doesn't think it's a good method of communication. He perhaps needs to join the 21st century. The Pulaski County School District is nearing a May 12th vote on a bond issue to build buildings. They desperately need them. There's an interesting undercurrent in this story. I talked to John Walker today, civil rights lawyer, instrumental in settling the Pulaski County desegregation case. Part of the deal for the state to get out of it was to build the schools that were necessary in Pulaski County, and the parts of the county that have been overlooked as prospered white parts of the county got new schools. That was one of the conditions to establish a new Jacksonville school district. There's going to be a hearing next week I think if it looks like the state is going to renege on its commitment to help the Pulaski District fix its construction needs, that it should raise questions about whether the state agreement can go forward, including this new school district in Jacksonville. It's something to watch. There'll be things to talk about there, that's for sure. And finally, for more reading on the Arkansas blog, Wendell Griffen, the prolific circuit judge preacher who writes sometimes provocatively about a lot of social justice issues, has done so again. And he's talking again about police brutality. He says that body cameras, which some people think would be a solution to police brutality because cops would wear cameras, he said that won't solve anything. He said that only a change in character and a better investigation of the kind of people we hire to be police, and then rigorous enforcement against those who don't police properly is the only answer. I think he's right. The revelations coming out of South Carolina about the latest shooting of an unarmed person and about the cursory examination given to previous complaints of abuse by this officer tell us once again that too often police get the benefit of the doubt of things that happen out of view of the public. The good news is that cell phones have made a lot more things public than once were. I'm Max Brantley. That's it for this week. I'll be back Monday.